This is starting to look good. Starting to have some fun, people. Having some fun. I like what we're doing here. This is great. Waiting for the Facebook to go live. That is the last piece of this puzzle. And then we'll be able to participate in some good time action. So, hope everybody's excited. Studio mode is off on there. And just wait for this guy here to go live, and we're good over here. Don't have everybody on yet, but that's okay. We'll switch over to front cam so you guys can see me. Just as we're waiting for the Facebook group to go live here. And da-da-da-da. And we're going to turn this down a little bit, just give us a little less audio so there's not so much feedback there. All right, I hear that we got Facebook Live, I hear we got YouTube Live, I hear we're ready to go. Well, I want to be the first people to have the opportunity to welcome you guys to 2026. And yesterday we did a live stream, and it was all about like kicking off the new year and how to utilize your planning system. And from that, we got a handful of you that said, hey, Brandon, I really love what you did there, but could you compact it down in a little bit tighter window, and could you put it in something that we can see on the Remarkable, because we have so many users out there that use this device. And when we talk about the Remarkable, there's one thing that I want you guys all to know, that if you are a Remarkable fan, you get it. It's distraction free. If you are someone that hasn't seen the benefits of the Remarkable, you might want to tune in and take a peek. So what we're doing here today, give you a little bit of a tutorial, if you weren't a part of yesterday's live stream, is we're going to go through, I'm going to talk about what it means to kick off the new year. How do you rebalance your life so that you have a good sense, a good core focus on what you want to achieve in the coming year? And then I'm going to talk about building on a vision. Like, what does it mean to have a vision for the year and not lose track of those goals 2, 3, 4 days into it? No, even months into it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are really thinking about their fitness goals and hitting the gym. I saw an uptick in traffic this morning as many people are participating in that. But I want you to be able to carry that goal or any goal throughout the whole year. I had a goal once to run 1,000 miles, and I thought in the course of a year I could easily do that. And when I talked about a 1,000-mile goal, it wasn't until I broke that goal down into being able to run 10, 15, 20, 30 miles a week, and breaking that down into running 3 to 6 miles a day, that I recognized that I was capable of achieving that goal. If I tried to accomplish the 1,000 miles all in 1 feet, it was never going to be something I was going to be able to complete. Thus, I would be defeated in my goals. And I don't want anyone this year to get into 2026 with the excitement that you have and find yourself feeling defeated. So this video, this live stream, is going to be just about that. We are going to be talking about the Remarkable, rebalancing your life, creating a vision, instilling habits and routine each and every day that maximize your potential, setting key priorities, putting the first things first, building out habits, and being successful. So if this is something that you're interested in, you want to see how to do it on the Remarkable, your tablet, your e-ink distraction-free source, let's tune in. But throughout this call, we're going to be doing a handful of just Q&A pieces, because we want to be able to have an opportunity to speak to you guys about the Remarkable and how you use it. So throughout this, if you guys get any chats, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and hit the chats. We're going to do a Q&A session live at the end. And with that being said, start by telling me a little bit about where you guys are located, where you guys are at, and where you're from. And we will see if we can have any comments on that as we move forward. So I'm going to check the feed here real quick before we get started and make sure everything looks good on our end, which it looks like it is looking pretty good. And looks like all that looks good. So that is good to see. I'm getting the green thumbs. So I like that. All right. So with all that being said, let's get started. If you guys are thinking about 2026, first off, kind of tell me, where's your headspace at? Coming on 2025, did you maximize all the goals that you wanted to achieve? Did you reach the things that you felt were going to be a part of your life? And if not, that is okay. That is totally okay. So we're going to dive into it. So first and foremost, if you haven't heard my backstory, I'm the creator and developer of the Key2Success planner. If you're using our planner, great. If you're not, you can take what we're going to talk today and use it in your own world, throughout your own plans, or even in the Remarkable. We're going to be offering some promotions that if you are interested in our planner, you can go ahead and jump in, and we're going to be giving away a free tool. And the first tool that we're giving away free today is the Life Balance Wheel. The Life Balance Wheel is a tool that I use each and every year to reassess where I'm at, realign my priorities, and give myself an opportunity to build out what I want to work towards in the coming year. If you want this tool and you want it for free, you can take part right now. Go to our website, go under shops, look up tiles, find the tile called Life Balance, go to checkout, it's $14.99, use the code Life 26, all one word, and that is LIFE 26. You will get this tile for free, and I'm going to show you guys how to use this tile right now. So to use this tile, I want you to first, and you can. What's one thing really powerful about the Remarkable is you can zoom in just like that. Think of ancient Roman times, and think about when they had to build any of the giant pillars, monuments, and temples. A lot of it was built with heavy rock, marble, and it carried these great distances. Could you imagine having the weight of these boulders and having to carry them across deserts and landscapes to be able to build these monuments, these temples? They didn't have all the technology and machinery that we do today. But they did have one thing. They had a wheel, a cart. They were able to use horseback. They even could take timbers and roll things across the ground. And they did that using a wheel. And I want you guys to think of this Life Balance Wheel as a wheel. The more circular it is, the easier it's going to roll. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at this wheel and see how you guys can use it. The first thing we do in our Life Balance Wheel is you start out by looking at different categories in your life: career, health, finance, recreation, self, relationships, community, and spirit. And with our Life Balance Wheel, you can actually customize this to make up your own. But what I want you to do is start by asking yourself, with the 3 being the middle ground, like that's hitting the mark, where do you sit? Where do you sit with your life? 3 means you feel that you are investing the right amount of time into your career. 1, 2 feels like maybe you're falling short of how much time, energy, and focus you should be putting into the system, into your career. And if you're looking at an area in your career where you feel like you are maybe too invested, it's occupying too much of your time, it's eroding into your personal life, into your relationships, into your health, well, definitely a 4. If it's severe, add a 5. And I want you to go through and not only mark out where you sit, but I also want you to tell me why. Why did you give it a 3, a 4, or a 5? And I'm just going to put a 5 in here for the sake of this conversation. I'm going to go say 3 on finance. I'm going to say recreation I can do a little better in, not really where I want. Self, sometimes maybe a little overinvest in myself and I don't listen to all the people around me. Community, I feel like I'm on par. Spiritually, I feel like maybe I can always give a little bit more there. Christ is present, but I feel like I should always be a little more present each and every day. So I'm going to zoom back out a little bit with Remarkable, and I'm going to show you guys this wheel here and how it looks. We're going to slide down here. And you can use color if you want, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to color this in. I'm going to make my Remarkable pen just a little bigger so we can move a little faster. And career, that is this tab right there. I put it as a 5. So I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to draw that in just like so. Kind of color that in real quick. And you could make this look pretty, but for the sake of time, we're not. Finance, we said, was about a 3, so we're going to put that here. We're just going to kind of color that in. Self, we already indicated there we were at. Relationships, health, we said. Relationships, we said we were about a 2. Recreation, we said we were about a 2. Spiritual, we said about a 2. Looking at that wheel, tell me, how do you think my wheel would roll that heavy boulder. See, that boulder recognizes the challenges that we're facing. We might have all the strength and resources available to us, but if we don't take the opportunity to address moving those boulders, getting over those hurdles, we're going to have a sense of depletion, a sense of failure. And a lot of times where that comes is from us just not having harmony in our life, not having a balance, not feeling that we're getting and giving all the things that we necessarily need to do each and every day. So when you go through this wheel, and you got to be honest with yourself, people, you got to be honest with yourself. Ask yourself the hard question. You can put a password on it, keep it behind the lock space if that's what you feel you need to do, but be honest with yourself. Where do you feel you're setting? And how do you feel you're sitting? The goal here is for every single one of these to be a 3. We want to have balance, so this is a wheel. And by having a wheel, we're going to be able to roll. We're going to be able to take on those boulders and move across whatever landscape, terrain that comes at us in 2026. But, Brandon, my life's a mess. I don't have a wheel, but I'm sitting in the same boat you are. And that's perfectly okay. If you ever read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, one thing that really stands out to me about that book is he says in the book, it's not about making a big splash in the pond. It's about making small, granular changes in our life. Small, fractional, 1% adjustments each and every day, every week. And over time, we'll see great gains. Process this for a second. You got the United States of America. You're a pilot or a passenger on a plane in Los Angeles. And you're flying across the United States with a destination of Washington, D.C. Early in your flight, your pilot decides to make a 1% course adjustment to the north and starts flying this plane. Over the course of flying across the United States, that 1% adjustment will put that destination in New York City. New York City and Washington, D.C., at first glance, it doesn't seem like it's possible. But over time, that 1% adjustment heading puts on a mark that we travel a great distance. Matter of fact, it's almost vertically like half the distance of the continental U.S. So think about that and think about what we're going to do next. When we jump into this life balance wheel, the first thing I want you to start to do, take a moment, decompress your thoughts, write down your notes, reflect. What would you need to change about your path, your daily activities, the people that you're around? See, we are the sum of 5 things. If you haven't watched my podcast yet, I encourage you to take time to go check it out. It's on YouTube. But I talk about one of the podcasts about the sum of 5 things, the sum of the people that are around us. If I want to get myself in better shape, but my closest friends don't ever go to the gym or have no inspiration for me to work out, to eat better, how do you think my journey is going to be? If I'm around friends that are collegiate stars, amazing salespeople, and I want to grow my sales portfolio, I'm going to succeed by the relationships of the people around me. See, sometimes we have to be willing to take on change, look at the strengths to overcome our challenges, and build our success on a foundation that's going to work for all of us. And then there's some five things in that podcast I talk about evaluating that. When we talk about the life balance wheel here, I want you to think about the strengths. What can you do in your wheel that's strong? Where's there challenges? And how are you to go about rebalancing yourself throughout the year? What action steps are going to take place in your different areas? If I'm overcommitting in the area of career, what could I do to still be able to maintain the level of responsibilities that I have, but be able then to maybe shift some of that weight into the areas of my spiritual life, recreation, and relationships so that I can have more focus? And ultimately, I want you to know that it's on you. I want you in that last closing statement to say, what are you responsible for in your rebalancing act? And then ask yourself, what is going to be the next time of evaluation? It doesn't need to be tomorrow. Might be next month. Might be this quarter. It might be later this year. The idea with this reevaluation period is you are simply putting a mark in the sand. You're to come back to this balancing wheel and figure out what's best for you. So that is the balancing wheel that I wanted to show you. And the reason why I do this on my Remarkable, especially because of the fact that I'm so disconnected from everything else, I'm able to have a sense of real focus with this device and be able to go through the process of doing so. What this does for me, it allows me then to jump into my plan for the year, my planner, and start to think about what is my vision. And the reason why I start my year out with my balance wheel is I think that gives me a good understanding of what I want to work towards in the year, because it's going to help reshape and redefine where your goals are. Now, when I look at our planning system and I look at the vision board, you can do this in a lot of ways. You can go ahead and do like these types of markings here where you put you in the center, you put all of the things you want to do and start to build it out. You could go ahead and, put lines and subcategories, whatever you visually need to give yourself an idea of what the vision is. That is what's important on this page. Now, what I want you to also know about what's important part of this is everything that you're putting on the vision board at this point, you're not committing to. It's simply pie in the sky. It's an idea, a thought, something that you want to work towards. But before you leave this page, I want you to make some commitments for yourself. I want you to be able to go in and say, what is my statement? What is the visionary statement? And in this particular case, I want to be present in my own life. I want to be there not only for myself, for the work that I'm doing, for the hobbies and passions that I'm interested in, but for the people that are around me, the people that I'm coaching. I want to be there when I travel and take in the moments. That is my theme for this coming year. And I encourage you to have a theme as well, because that theme is no different than a tagline or a mission statement in a business. It should be built on morals, your own ethics, and most importantly, how you want to balance out your life. And that's where the accountability comes in. If you ever read the book, The 12-Week Year, we talk about in the 12-week year about how you look at bringing everything in the scope in a smaller window and working on things in a 12-week period. I know many of you are excited about 2026. A handful of you are probably off to an amazing start, already doing the things that you said you're going to do different, calling your mother more frequently, hitting up the gym, eating less carbs, going ahead and putting together your plans for your sales, getting your social media content all in order for next week. You're doing it. But how long will you achieve it? Will there be a point where there'll be a sunset to your ambitions? And why is that? Why is it we often get to May, June, and for sure for many of us by July, we lost sight of what our goals were in January? Things have changed. We've been presented. Heck, I get it. If we go back to COVID year, probably all going into that year, nobody thought we'd be locked in our house 4 months later. But the world is ever changing. And a lot of times we need to recognize that our own lives are going to change. The things that are in front of us aren't going to be the same in August and September as they were in January and February. And that is what I want you to hear when I say, let's plan 12 weeks at a time. Let's think about each and every quarter as this fresh start. Every quarter, jump back up on yourself and say, this is the goals for the next 90 days. This is what I'm working at. So if you have this goal of running 1,000 miles, what are you going to do in the next 3 months? If you have a goal of getting to the gym, how many times a week right now do you need to achieve that? If you have a goal of increasing your sales by 10 or 12%, how many calls do you need to make next week to put yourself on pace for results? when you look at this vision board, once you break it down, quarter by quarter by quarter, I want you to enter in real milestones that you can own, real actionable things that you can work towards achieving. When you look at our planning system, this here is the foundation of your success. From here, we jump into our goal pages, and I won't elaborate on our goals so much in this call because it's not irrelevant to everyone here that doesn't use our planner. But we break our goals down into 4 different categories: self, relationship, career, community. We think about what the blueprint is, what the motivation is, what is a brainstorming activity before we establish our action steps, and what does this mean? And then we journal through the process. And I said that all really fast, I know. But when it comes to goals, they come off of that vision board. But this is something I do want to share with each and every one of you. In the 12-week year, in our planning system, we don't focus on the entire year. We focus on a quarter by quarter mentality. Pop question. Hit it in the comments. How many weeks are in a quarter? Any takers out there? Anybody know? There's 13 weeks in every single quarter. Or sorry, there's 13 weeks in every single quarter. We practice a 12-week mentality approach. And the reason for that is we're taking 1 week to process what we want to achieve, put together an action plan, and then 12 weeks doing it. At the end of that 12 weeks, we're at either the end of the quarter or the start of a new. That particular week now, we're taking 1 week to reflect on the previous 12 weeks. We are asking ourselves, what things did we accomplish? What things did we fail to do? What things could we have done better? What were some of our key results? And we simply reflect on it. In that process, will help you understand, hey, this is what I need to change for the next quarter. So then as you jump in the next quarter, what does that plan look like? And what are going to be the objectives in that plan? So this is great and good for everyone. But how do you apply it to your daily life? We've thought about and talked about rebalancing it, about building a vision, breaking it down into things that we can achieve on a quarterly basis. But what does that mean each and every day? Because Franklin Covey wrote a book, The 7 Habits of Successful People. And one of the key things he said is you need to do first things first. I believe by taking care of business and doing first things first, that is where you're going to see the opportunity of that 1% adjustment in your daily living, that you'll see great gains over time. And we have a page in our planning system. It's called the weekly plan. This to me is by far, if you are using our planner, great. If you're not, this is a page I encourage you to take a moment and draw out and go through this process with me, because I think it's going to be very, very eye-opening. If you ever read the book, I mentioned a lot of books in this conversation because I think as we read and we learn about ourselves and we learn what others have learned that are now teaching us, we have an opportunity to grow. And that is what New Year's resolutions and goals are all about. It's about growing. So listening here, I want to talk about this weekly plan. It's based on the model of getting things done. Getting things done is really about having the ability to organize everything you have to do, have clarity on what you're going to work on, and reflect on what you achieved or didn't achieve. When it comes into a weekly planning session, what it looks like is starting, and I do this generally every Friday afternoon or over the weekend. That is not what we want to have happen. That is a prime example of when you do live, sometimes you don't expect things to always go the way you thought they would. We will take care of that here. These batteries by Sony, we're going to be upgrading for sure to the next Sony A5 camera because it doesn't overheat. like this A4 does. And it's actually really frustrating when it does, because normally I'm not doing lives and I can just manage. But obviously in this case, we are doing it live, so we'll bring it back. And we are back. Perfect. So in this weekly plan, you go ahead and you write down the things that you accomplished. You then address the things that were part of your original plan for the week and what you were not able to achieve. And then from there, you ask yourself, what? Why? Why were you not able to achieve it? What took you off focus? Illness, other jobs came up. Maybe you were interrupted. Something came up in the deck that you weren't able to recognize. Then you go in and say, okay, into the coming week, what areas, where do I want to improve? This is kind of where that rebalancing wheel comes in. Then you state where your opportunities are and where your connections are. And then from here, I want you to go ahead and write down all the different things, all the different post-it notes, all the different to-dos, all the different Outlook notifications, task lists, all the different things you have on your plate. I want you to put them right here. And I want you to stuff in as much possibly into this planning board as possible. And the reason for that is where the organization comes into play. Get everything in front of you on paper and see what you have to do. I can promise you two things. One, you will feel a lot better after seeing what you have to work towards. You have a sense of peace of like, hey, this is what's all in front of me. And it'll start to give you the opportunity to have clarity on where you start to put things first. And that is where the right side of this board comes in. We start to take the things out of here and place them over here. We ask ourselves what items are critical that we must manage and do now because there's a deadline, emergency, or they're hard to complete task. While things are still critical, but we have priority, we have the ability to schedule those priorities out. If it be building out, developing the future, or growing. And then as we start to look at these priorities or work towards that are not as critical, that we may need to reduce from our schedule or not put as much time and energy in, and what things should we be avoiding in our schedule or reducing and having the space to build those out. And you'll see on this sheet that one thing it says is brainstorm and research. The reason why I put that down there is so often when we are brainstorming and researching something, we get very easily distracted by all the other things that are on our plate. Some of us might even call that squirreling, chasing shiny objects, or simply being distracted. Being with the remarkable takes some of the distractions away. But taking care of things that are most critical and clearing those off your plate and scheduling time for you to have true time to focus is where you're going to have the best results. And this board gives you the opportunity to do that by organizing it. And lastly, I want you to go ahead and emphasize your goals for the week and then look to the week ahead. And the reason for that is I don't want you to make a plan for the entire Monday through Friday or whatever your work week is, and then you get to Wednesday, and for whatever reason, a reminder came up that you have to be somewhere Monday, Tuesday of next week, and you have to prepare a report for it or prepare to travel or whatever the nature is, so you simply fail at your current week because now you're having to make adaptations and adjustments for the schedule that's ahead to come. And that's where that weekly plan is really nice. So we did the weekly plan. You can draw this out. Gives us the place to reflect, gives us a place to organize, gives us the clarity on what we need to do. And from here, we start to look at these 1 and 2 and 3 tasks, and we start to jump into our daily key 3. If you have watched any of our videos, you know the importance of the daily key 3. The daily key 3 are a set of tasks, projects, action steps, results that are going to be that 1% adjustment. They're going to be the things that essentially allow us to work towards achieving. And what I tell everybody when you're looking at this daily key 3 is you really need to think of them not necessarily as like a to-do, but as the things that are most important that you work towards. So don't put yourself in a headspace of just putting to-dos in here. Put things in here that at the end of the day, when you're able to complete, they're going to give you that gratification like, hey, I was able to get results. I was able to accomplish what I wanted to do. I was able to move the needle. And generally speaking, these are bigger than 5-minute tasks um, that you're working towards. So those right there are a handful of the ways that I look at planning and how I utilize the remarkable to achieve success. If by any means any of this really motivates you or you're interested by it, you can go ahead and check out Key2SuccessPlanner.com. You can see a library of tools that we have. We have chat online. You can discover what the planner is all about. There is some videos in there that will help you organize, help you be more productive in the year, as well as help you build framework and have the ability to help communicate your thoughts and ideas from your brain into paper. And that's what's so awesome about using products like Remarkable is you are able to do that very easily. And with our system, you are able to achieve that. Now, throughout this, you might have questions. You might feel like, hey, I need a coach, I need help, and we're here to do that as well. We offer individual coaching as well. We offer definite support through the website. So with that being said, I want to take a moment just to thank everyone that kind of tuned in. I know this wasn't something that we had said we were just going to jump out and do, but it was definitely there for you guys to work towards and see. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a great year. You could kick it off to a new start by rebalancing yourself.